at least 1,000.
Did you hear that? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Coming up, why the Senior Golf Tour has some of the greats dancing to a new sound.
Going portside on the Rhine for a taste of French flavor in Strasbourg and a visit to the Swiss city of Basel.
And how one state's trying to stop telemarketing fraud with a peach sweep. All this and more is next on Time for Living.
Hello and welcome to Time for Living. I'm Howard Nielsen.
And I'm Janet Jagalian. Today we're going golfing to find out what all the hoopla is all about on the Senior Golf Tour.
We'll see what the Peach State, Georgia, is doing to stop telemarketing fraud. They're calling it the Peach Sweep. We'll find out why.
And we travel down the Rhine River to visit the French flavor of Strasbourg and the Swiss city of Basel on today's Traveling Around destination.
With the notoriety of Tiger Woods and the youth movement, we've seen the popularity of golf reach new heights. Young and old people alike are hitting the greens, hoping to become the next Tiger Woods or to just enjoy the great outdoors with old friends and new acquaintances.
But for some senior golf legends who were no longer finding a place on the Pro Tour, they took things into their own hands, and the results have them dancing on the green.
Bring it in there.
And for once, they were right.
Even before Tiger Woods won the Masters, golf had taken on new meaning for many senior Americans. In the early 1980s, there were many well-known names in golf. Sam Snead, Gardner Dickinson, Bob Goalby, Don January, Julius Boros, as well as others. All of them reaching an age when they no longer wanted to compete on the professional golf tour and wondering what the future of golf held for them. Prior to 1981, only special events for tournament professionals over the age of 50 were held. As a result, these golfers and others gathered together and held what was later to become a landmark meeting and formed the Senior Professional Golf Tournament. Since that time, the Senior Tour has become known as the most successful professional sport in history. Many Senior PGA tournaments are now currently held, including the Home Depot Invitational and the Bank Boston Classic, to be held in August in Concord, Massachusetts. Last year, before the Bank Boston Classic, Bob Goalby talked about how the Senior PGA started.
How could the Senior Tour start? They had the Legends of Golf in 78 and 79. It was on NBC or one of the networks, and we had great shows both years. Snead birdied the last 3 holes the first year to win by 1, and the second year, Boris and DiVincenzo birdied 6 holes in a row in the playoff to win by 1 against Art Wall and Tommy Bolt. So we had 2 great shows, and as we went around the country after playing the regular tour, the people would say, boy, those old guys can still play. How do we get a tournament like that at our club? You know, and sort of that was the kind of, and we ended up with 2 tournaments in 80, and then 9 tournaments in 81, and then we're up to 43 tournaments. Now, we could have one every week, but we got to have a little break. We started for $250,000 the first year for 2 tournaments total, and now they're playing for over $43 million. The Senior Tour has been an unbelievable success story.
Oh, that's downwind.
Since its beginning, the Senior PGA Tour has attracted many of the regular professional golf players when they reach their 50s. The Senior Tour has grown steadily over the last few years, becoming a big favorite of golf fans and amateur players alike. It has provided exciting golf as well as many enjoyable moments.
Never get tired of seeing it. The full Monty, the full business.
Since that first meeting in 1981, the Senior PGA Tour has grown to over 44 weeks of play each year with prizes of over $44 million. The uniqueness of golf, where players are one-on-one with each other and can mingle with the crowds, differentiates golf from most other sports. Each golfer brings their own style to the sport.
Wow. There's never been a sports story like this in any sport. You know, tennis, Jimmy Connor's got that tennis started. They're doing well, but nothing like our time. Well, I think golf lends itself to pro-ams. You can communicate with people. In tennis courts, you know, you're across the net and you really can't compete with a guy. He has to dog it to let you compete with him, where if you're a 10 handicapper, which you're probably a 6 though, huh?
Not quite.
Well, we could have a good game, you know, because I'm no longer a scratch.
Another result due to the success of the Senior PGA Tour is the effect it's had on many older Americans. In recent years, many of them have turned out on golf courses across the country, some just to play golf with friends, and others to participate in amateur or invitational tournaments. Peter Manning, Executive Vice President of Bank Boston, the sponsor of the Bank Boston Classic at the Neshawta Country Club in Concord, Mass., thinks age should never be a factor in playing golf.
I'd say it's never too old. Golf is a game that, with handicapping, you can have enormous fun, no matter how well or poorly you play, and it's a fabulous sport. It's never too late. Even if you're 82 years old, you should start.
Looks good.
Still another benefit of the Senior PGA Tour is the effect playing golf can have on you. As the pros have demonstrated, regardless of age, the game of golf can be full of fun as well as good for your health.
Well, I think it helps. I think when the Senior Tour started, most of us were a little out of shape. Once we got back into competition, the guys start taking better care of themselves, and they're working at it. And now the younger guy that's coming off of the regular tour, he's been playing, even though he may not be as competitive as he'd like to be, but he's trying to stay in shape for the Senior Tour. And they're working at it much harder, and we got better athletes and people in better condition playing this game.
I had my kids and stuff.
Jim Dent, a member of the Seniors PGA Tour and the winner of last year's Bank Boston Classic, and this year, having already won a tournament, the Home Depot Invitational, put it this way about what playing golf as a senior means to him.
When I turned 46, I was trying to find out what kind of job I had to go try to find to get, you know. So it was a time when, hey, you didn't think ever these days was coming. But you have to thank guys like Julia Burrows, Bob Goby, Sam Snead, and the rest of the Senior Tour, Miller, Bob, and those guys. When they build this thing, I pray and thank them every night.
Regardless of what your score is, or how high your handicap might be, golf is a sport in which both men and women of all ages can have fun, be outside, and enjoy the camaraderie of many friends. You're never too old to have a good time.
That gets him back under par, and the celebration begins.
When we come back, we'll find out what goes into putting a senior event together and why the popularity of golf has reached senior proportions. Stay with us.
No,
I didn't think so.
there aren't. And they're building them at a very rapid rate.
Yeah,
The problem is finding enough open land,
yeah. That's one
close
way.
enough to population.
Attention mature travelers. Grand Circle Travel invites you to discover the world in a whole new way. When you call for your copy of the world's best travel values, absolutely free. Inside, you'll discover a completely new way to travel that's planned and paced exclusively for mature travelers. At last, discover the joy of meeting local people in the places you visit and learn about their unique culture and customs and experience their greatest art and architecture. From a picnic in the Swiss Alps to the spice markets of Istanbul, Grand Circle Travel invites you to discover the world in a whole new way. Call for your free copy of the world's best travel values today. To receive complete details on how you can discover the world in a whole new way with Grand Circle Travel, including your free copy of the world's best travel values, call toll-free 1-800-966-2768. That's 1-800-966-2768. Call today.
Joining us today to talk about the impact the Senior Golf Tour is having on golf in general and the renewed interest by older Americans as well is Ross Piken. Mr. Piken is the president of the Nishotic Charities, which oversees the financial integrity of the Bank Boston Senior Classic held in Massachusetts. We thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you, Janet, for asking.
Golf has become such a big thing. I mean, I played tennis for years, and all my tennis partners are now playing golf. They just get hooked on this sort of thing, and there's no turning back.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what happened. It's happening everywhere. And this has been going on for the better part of 20 years.
Because years ago, golf was enjoyed by usually older businessmen. They'd retire and they'd play golf. And now there are younger people, and it's not just Tiger Woods. I mean, younger people have been getting into golfing for years.
Well, as more clubs are being built and more age groups are becoming involved, people are just loving it. They bring the rest of their family along, and before you know it, everybody's a golfer.
I mean, everyone started by caddying, and that was your entree. But now you go in and take lessons. You know, you can go that route instead.
That's right. At that time, it was really a private club kind of sport. Today, it's open to the general public. Mm-hmm. Everybody plays. They're building golf courses at a phenomenal rate, but no matter how fast they build them, it's not fast enough.
I was going to ask you, public and private, I'm sure both are having difficult meeting the demand.
Well, public courses, most of them on the weekend in particular, will start at daylight. And they have tee times spread out through the entire day, mm-hmm. whether they have 1, 2, or 3 different courses on the property. They're full all the time.
Is that what prompted the entree of these golf carts into the game to kind of speed it up, or was that because people just didn't want to walk that far?
I think it's a combination of both things. It serves particularly the public courses very well because it helps get people around the course somewhat quicker mm-hmm. than if they were walking. But there are many people who who have a specific need for riding, and they would much rather enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. And I understand women are coming into golf in great numbers as well. Not only business women who feel that this is a good way for them to conduct business, as men have often said it's the best way, but also women who are people who just want to expand their opportunities in sport.
There's no question about it. It's much like tennis was. women were involved, became involved in tennis, and now it's a matter of fact. Well, the same thing has happened in golf.
So sell me, I'm not a golfer yet. What's the big deal? What's the attraction?
There is something about it. It's being outside, it's the social environment, it's all the other things. It's just feeling good about yourself and
because
trying to improve.
Busy people play golf, and I am a very busy person, and I say, I haven't got the time for 3 hours on a golf course.
Well, I play a lot of golf. My wife is a very avid golfer. And I went out and played at 7 o'clock in the morning. We happen to belong to Neshota Country Club as members. And I went out at 7 o'clock in the morning, and in less than 3 hours, I finished 18 holes. So I could be back in my office at 10 o'clock, ready to go.
So if you have to go to work at 7, that's kind of tough to do that, though.
Well, that's true. But you have to pick your time.
Tell me, is it a real stress reliever?
It is.
Or is it stressful to play golf?
It depends on yourself, how you approach it. And I think for most people, it gets them away from the daily routine, and they forget about what they're doing, and they just play for whatever reason they want to play.
And what about the pace of it? Is it something they set, or are they being pushed from behind from other groups?
That's an interesting point, because that's always a sore spot, is how fast or slow the pace is. And I think a lot of that has to do with the people playing behind you and the people playing in front of you. You try, the club that you play at, whether it's private or public, tries to establish a time frame that you should be able to play 18 holes in. And that's a very reasonable thing. So the people that are slow have to hurry up.
Right. Now, we're told that it doesn't matter what level of golf you're playing at. You can still play with fairly good golfers because of this magic handicap. Right. How do you arrive at that handicap?
Well, it's interesting. This has evolved basically over the last 10 years. And it was always done state by state or region by region. Now, the USGA, the United States Golf Association, took it upon themselves to establish a system whereby anybody in any state, anywhere across the country, can play with anybody else. They can step on a golf course, meet for the first time, and have a match or a game, however you want to put it, based on their USGA handicap. And it's computerized, and it prints out, and you can get your handicap every time you go to wherever you play.
Do you ever lie about your score?
Oh, sure you can.
To what? Get a better handicap? Is that a badge of honor?
That was always a problem, and that's why this system was developed. You have always had golf hustlers out there.
Sure. And I mean, there have been people who have been suspect of even President Clinton's score, wondering how he can shoot such good scores.
Well, who knows? A little bit of it might be PR.
But anyway, the handicap is something that is fairly scientifically established to level the playing field for all golfers.
As a matter of fact, any person, any senior of any age, can play with Tiger Woods. And that seems like a far-fetched example, but it's the truth.
Tiger would be sitting on his fanny most of the time, wouldn't he?
Well, you know, Tiger would have a hard time beating someone with a 20 handicap. He'd have a real hard time. Because he's a plus handicap, and let's say he's a +5. He'd have to give away 25 strokes over 18 holes. Boy, he'd have to play awfully good to win.
Now let's talk a little bit about the Senior Tour, and the fact that this is a wonderful opportunity for great golfers to continue staying in fabulous shape and earning good money and having a great time.
It is one of the most amazing athletic phenomenons of our time.
And why is that?
It's the basic reason it all was so successful is because the American public loved it. Why did they love it? There were a lot of different reasons. Some of it was nostalgia. Some of it was the camaraderie that these guys that first came out on the Senior Tour were so good to talk. They banter with the crowd back and forth.
They're showmen. Many of them are.
Many of them are.
Chichi Rodriguez and Fuzzy Zeller and a lot of the others who are. I mean, the people we saw on the piece of tape that we just saw recently. I mean, they really act up and act out and give everybody a hoot and howl.
Well, it's true, and I think they go about developing that little routine that they do intentionally, because it helps them earn more money. But at the same time, people like it. It's kind of like a natural phenomenon.
Yeah, what goes into putting a tour like this and what Nishotik's going through
It's
together?
huge.
Does it take a year to plan?
It takes a year. We have 2 people that work full-time for the charities, and the tournament director, Peter Mealy, and his assistant, and they spend the entire year planning this whole thing and preparing it. And it all has to come together in a 2-week window prior to the tournament, because the tournament pays, or the charities pays a rental to the club for the right to use all the facilities for that week.
And you have to make sure that these celebrities are going to be coming here.
It's a big
because
job.
that adds to the grandeur of it.
Well, the bank runs a private pro-am, the Bank Boston runs a private pro-am on Monday. And in order to get the players that they need to play in this pro-am, they've hired or chartered a plane to fly out of Salt Lake City, where the tournament is playing this week, to come to Boston.
I see.
With the appropriate number of players. We, in turn, are sending someone out there to make sure that all these people get on this plane and come to Boston to be able to do this.
The people who come are the reason that you get the numbers of people who come out and sit in the stands or walk along the course and observe what's happening.
That has an awful lot to do with it. It's just a happening. People come and enjoy themselves. They really have a lot of fun.
I have to admit, I'm amazed at the number of people who sit and watch golf matches on the television set. I mean, they're totally mesmerized by this whole thing.
Well, television can only do so much on a golf course. You lose some of that three-dimensional effect of what it really is. It's different. It's just not the same as being there in person.
What's the best way for someone to get into golf? Even, let's say they're 50 years old or perhaps a little older. Should they begin taking lessons first?
Well, I think so. If they've never done it, I think that's the appropriate way to go. Usually they want to do it because they've seen it taking place on television.
Do you have to have a lot of money?
You don't have to have a lot of money. I think it's like any other sport that you may be involved in. There are costs involved. If you're a public playing person.
Right. What does it cost to normally play on a public course, 18 holes?
On 18 holes, it's probably, including a cart, between $30 and $40. You can assume somewhere between 4 and 5 hours.
On a public course, you have to usually own your own clubs too, don't you?
Usually, although usually
you don't rent shoes.
No, you don't rent shoes. Not usually, but you can rent clubs.
Right.
They're very accommodating in that regard, and you see all of the public courses continuously advertising for people to come to join their beginning leagues and
if you haven't got the money to lay out to start with, I understand you can also buy used clubs.
Absolutely.
And aside from renting them, but there are ways of cutting costs just to get involved, because you don't know exactly what it is you're going to ultimately want to buy
and
for
that's
yourself.
The best way to do it. That is truly the best way to do it, because you can get some fabulous buys doing it that way.
Well, you've talked me into it. I got to give it a try.
You've got to give it a try.
Well, thanks so much for joining us today, and lots of luck with this tour group at Nishotik.
It's phenomenal.
Wonderful.
It really is. Thank you.
When we come back, the Spice Lady who turned a love into millions. Stay with us.
Okay.
When Ann Wilder started buying pounds of cumin from her local Indian market, she had no idea that at the young age of 50, she was about to launch what has become a $2.5 million spice company.
Well, Mary Norton tells us how Ms. Wilder went from teacher to spice queen in today's Second Effort Salute.
Spices, spices, and more spices. Ann Wilder can't get enough.
Oh, this is has a wonderful aroma. I love tarragon.
Ann Wilder's company, Van Spices, got its start 15 years ago because of her passion for tandoori seasoning.
There was a man who had a little spice shop down at the harbor, and when I bought a pound of cumin at one point, he asked me why. And so I said, well, I make tandoori, and he said he could sell that. And so then I went to my local grocery store, and Mr. Growl said, yeah, I could sell that.
She spent the next 5 years learning how to spot a better grade spice and what kind of grades were available.
As I found better products, then I could introduce them into the stores that I already was selling to, and fairly soon I was a full-scale spice house.
Vans has recently added grains, beans, and rice to its product line.
Look at these. These are baby lima beans. Aren't they beautiful? I love baby limas.
And private labels for many of its customers. The most important part of dealing with herbs and spices is making sure they are packaged and shipped while they're fresh.
We can pretty much guarantee that whatever we put out of here is 90 days from being picked, at the most. And everything that is ground is out in 7.
When rush orders come in and things get busy, Ann's husband comes out of the front office and lends a hand.
Couldn't you get somebody else to do this?
Everybody else was all busy here today. So.
Doing things by hand makes sure the herbs and spices don't break down and start to lose their flavor. Even the kosher salt must be handled gently.
We found that if you put it in a piece of machinery and it breaks that salt crystal, it becomes bitter. And then I don't like it.
And still having fun creating new spice mixtures and seasonings.
I'm having way too much fun. I mean, what other business could you be in where you meet crazy people and you get to travel and you have to go and eat the food? So I'm having a wonderful time.
I'm Mary Norton reporting.
If you have anybody you think deserves a Second Effort Salute, then you can write to us at Time for Living, care of Second Effort Salute, P.O. Box 8452, Boston, Massachusetts, 02114.
Or you can fax us at 617-329-1774 or call our voicemail and ask your questions. Our voicemail number is 800-232-7213.
When we come back, going portside on the Rhine for a taste of French flavor in Strasbourg and a visit to the Swiss city of Basel.
Cat, so I got lots of hair.
Well, I have my best friend Donald has 7 dogs.
Oh.
And I don't know how many cats. 3 or 4
in
cats.
In the house?
No, in and out. And then
I couldn't
half a dozen
manage.
sheep. And,
2 dogs are enough.
Oh, it's a madhouse.
And mine are big dogs.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Okay. Welcome back to Time for Living. It's time for our Traveling Around destination, where we bring you to faraway places around the world.
Today we're taking a portside trip on the Rhine, where we visit the city of Strasbourg and Basel and their unique blends of different cultures on today's Traveling Around destination.
The flavor of France is captured in Strasbourg, where French cafes sit alongside traditional German pubs, making for a colorful cultural mix. The Cathedral of Notre Dame, built on the foundations of an early Romanesque church, displays itself prominently in the city center.
Well, this island is on the River Ill. It's a small island, about 5 kilometers long, 3 kilometers large. And that the history of Strasbourg began about 2,000 years ago with the Romans.
We're passing under St. Martin's Bridge and are now entering the quaintest part of our tour.
This cruise is very interesting if especially you have not a lot of time to spend in Strasbourg. You first have to take a waterlock. This waterlock is bringing you up about 2 meters. After this you discover, for example, the famous Petite France area where the tanners and millers were living from the 16th till the beginning of our century. You see especially the different fortifications of our city, the fortifications of the Middle Age, many towers, big walls, but also the fortifications of the 18th century, the French period of Louis XIV. It's quite an open-air museum with monuments of different times. So you have from the Middle Age till the actual period, many monuments and many styles represented here.
One of the finer points of the ships is their ability to in fact lower the entire upper deck where the captain is in the wheelhouse, and this is necessary to enter many of the locks and a number of the bridges which must be sailed through. The most extensive of these lock systems exists south of Strasbourg as you are heading towards Basel on the final stretch of the upstream cruise. Most travelers are actually quite fascinated to see this, and it's amazing that you are only inches from the side walls of these locks. People can scarcely believe it and reach out and touch it, in fact.
What better place to end our cruise than in the Swiss city of Basel, where the countries of France, Germany and Switzerland meet to form Three Countries Corner.
I think Basel is, in a way, the cultural heart of this country. We are the second largest city in Switzerland, but Basel is a big city for the country, but it has its human dimensions, and that makes it so interesting. You can walk to all places which you want to see without any problem. You don't need even not our public transportation, which is perfect, but you can walk to all these places.
The town hall faces the market square, where you truly experience the hustle and bustle of everyday life in Basel.
Now, if you'd like more information about any travel destination seen on Time for Living, you can call Grand Circle Travel at 1-800-966-2802, extension 106. Again, that's 1-800-966-2802, extension 106. When Time for Living continues, trusts, how they not only help you, but your loved ones as well. Stay with us.
Traveling Around is brought to you by Grand Circle Travel. Attention mature travelers. Grand Circle Travel invites you to discover the world in a whole new way. When you call for your copy of the world's best travel values, absolutely free. Inside, you'll discover a completely new way to travel that's planned and paced exclusively for mature travelers. At last, discover the joy of meeting local people in the places you visit, and learn about their unique culture and customs, and experience their greatest art and architecture. From a picnic in the Swiss Alps to the spice markets of Istanbul, Grand Circle Travel invites you to discover the world in a whole new way. Call for your free copy of the world's best travel values today. To receive complete details on how you can discover the world in a whole new way with Grand Circle Travel, including your free copy of the world's best travel values, call toll-free 1-800-966-2768. That's 1-800-966-2768. Call today.
I have to do a TV show tonight. Welcome back. None of us want to prepare for the time when we die, but it is something that can have a big impact on our loved ones, not only emotionally, but in many cases, financially.
And in order to alleviate the stress of dealing with our estate, no matter how large or small, we should create a trust. Here's Steve Burke with some things to consider when creating a trust.
As most of you realize, it's impossible to cover any subject in detail, whether it's about trust or mutual funds or any matter related to the world of finance. For that reason, we try to cover a subject by touching the high spots with the thought that it will help you to find areas of interest to you, which you can investigate more thoroughly with your financial advisor, insurance person, accountant, or attorney. Speaking of attorneys, it's important for you to know that trusts need to be drawn by a very competent lawyer, preferably one who specializes in trust work. Since a trust can be a very personal instrument, you want to have the legal language stating exactly what you want accomplished. What follows then are some points for you to consider and some terms to be aware of should you want to discuss a trust with an attorney. Beware, too, that I'm not a member of the bar, so make sure you check thoroughly those subjects I discuss. Your trust attorney can be helpful in suggesting strategies which can make a trust even more useful for you. Like me, your financial advisor may well have a number of years of experience, but in my judgment, you are well advised to have a team approach should you decide on a trust. The team should be comprised of your advisor, your accountant, and a good trust attorney. This should ensure that there aren't any unpleasant surprises for your trustees or you in the future. The very first thing to do in a financial planning or estate planning trust work is to define as specifically as you can what you want to accomplish. This can be of great help to your technical assistants. It assists them to assist you. Remember Alice in Wonderland's counsel when looking for directions. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. A trust is a very important legal instrument. It should be treated respectfully. However, you need not be afraid of discussing a trust or entering into one, as long as you do your homework and there is good help out there. There are a lot of trusts out there. There are trusts for children and trusts for incompetent people, trusts for businesses, such as pension trust or profit-sharing trusts, and charitable trusts. You can have a joint trust, marital deduction trust, and trust to hold certain assets, but not other assets that you may control. Generally, remember there are exceptions to almost everything. Trusts have certain time limits when the trust involves people. However, in the case of charitable trusts or non-person beneficiaries, the trust can go on for an indefinite time. For example, Harvard University is still, over 300 years later, the beneficiary of a gift from John Harvard. For families, there are more limited conditions. A trust must vest, be paid out, not later than 21 years after someone who was born at the creation of the trust. To that time period is added a gestation period to protect a child conceived but not born. Put another way, a trust for families cannot go in perpetuity. Characteristics common to all trusts are a creator, a trustee or trustees, a beneficiary or beneficiaries, property, which are assets, and the terms of the trust. Anything which can be owned can be put in a trust, although this is not necessarily a good move. Trustees or a trustee are very important to the trust success. For that reason, it's very critical to pick your trustees carefully, and possibly successor trustees should your original trustees be unable to serve. Once your assets exceed $100,000, you should begin to examine the merits of a trust. Certainly when one gets in a more affluent position, serious consideration should be given a trust, or trusts. And finally, if you have a certain responsibility such as a disabled family member, yourself, or some situation which calls for conservative management of your funds, a trust may well be the answer. And there can be estate and income tax benefits resulting from the move. But don't create a trust simply to avoid taxes. It may be more of a problem than a solution. I'm Steve Burke, Time for Living.
If you have any financial questions about topics seen on Health, Finance, and More, you can write to us at Time for Living, care of Health, Finance, and More, P.O. Box 8452, Boston, Massachusetts, 02114.
Or you can fax us at 617-329-1774 or call our voicemail at 1-800-232-7213.
When Time for Living continues, how one state is sweeping away telemarketing fraud. Stay with us.
fight a problem that costs American consumers $40 billion a year, slowly but surely.
Fraudulent telemarketers work from anywhere, and anyone can be a victim. But law enforcement authorities are getting a handle on this national epidemic. Mary Norton has more.
No community is immune as a base for telemarketing fraud. That's one reason it's so hard for law enforcement to find them and shut them down.
Fraudulent telemarketers are an ever-moving target. Some are a lot like cockroaches. When you chase them out of one location, they scurry off to someplace else.
But officials are catching up. Recently, law enforcement and consumer groups came together to announce the results of Peach Sweep, a joint initiative targeting fraudulent telemarketing operations that are based in Georgia, but that affect consumers throughout the country.
We want them out of Georgia, out of business, and we want them out of business in every other state as well.
It's a good start on multi-state efforts to go after telemarketing fraud. It's also a good symbol when a state like Georgia is going after its own bad apples.
Law enforcement authorities say they are committed to shutting them all down, even if it's one state at a time.
Joint, state, and federal crackdowns, such as this one, put fraudulent telemarketers on notice that they can run, but they cannot hide.
I'm Mary Norton reporting.
Georgia Peach Sweep Initiative is a lesson for all consumers. The more educated the public is about telemarketing fraud, the less likely they'll be ripped off.
So if you suspect fraud, contact the National Fraud Information Center at 1-800-876-7060. How many of you have had limited time to enjoy life because of problems related to the proper functioning of your mouth, teeth, and gums? Well, studies support the fact that acute dental problems account for more restricted activity, increased days in bed, and work loss than conditions of the eye, skin, or non-migraine headaches.
Now, while 6% of total health care costs go to dental care, older adults are often underutilizers of dental health services for reasons of access, costs, and their expectations of aging. Poor oral health alters the quality of life for any of us over our entire lifetime, but new oral health problems impacts the quality of life of older adults in social, emotional, and biological ways. In today's Medical Minute, Dr. Alan Abrams tells us the importance of good oral health and the major problems about which we should be aware.
Let's look at the many ways your mouth and oral cavity can serve you. First, it is the first line of defense in protecting you against systemic infections. Second, the mouth is responsible for the adequate chewing, tasting, and swallowing of food. Third, your smile provides you with a sense of facial attractiveness and self-esteem. Fourth, you express yourself to others both through words and expressions with your mouth. While good oral health goes almost unnoticed, poor oral health and the progressive nature of oral disease renders the older adult even more at risk for declines in the quality of their life and health. Here are some of the major problems that commonly beset the mouths of older adults. 1. The most serious impairment are those which impact the integrity of the teeth and the gums. Problems here could lead to tooth loss, foul-smelling breath, and changes in your meal composition. Frequently, these changes in eating habits create nutritional issues. And in addition, social isolation from oral discomfort discourages singing, smiling, or even kissing. This results in older individuals ill at ease with themselves and others. 2. Oral facial pain and discomfort is also high on the list of treatable conditions. While oral facial cancers are common in alcohol and tobacco users, malalignment of the teeth and dentures and jaw joint pain are more common in non-users. Simple dental interventions can often correct these kinds of problems. Realigning your dentures or filing rough surfaces may be all that it takes. 3. A lack of adequate salivation is responsible for a number of problems in the mouth of older adults. Many medications commonly taken by older adults renders the mouth dry, leaving the patient at higher risk for nutritional difficulties, dental decay, and poor-fitting dentures. Ask your physician to assist you in rearranging your medications if this sounds like your problem. 4th, in some instances, a problem in the mouth is a manifestation of another illness. Diabetics in poor control have more dental infections, for example. In this age of fluoridation, dental disease should be better prevented. As you age, oral cavity problems are not a problem of aging alone. Ask your physician to assess your oral health and whether medications or other diseases are affecting your mouth. A good oral exam by your doctor involves a lighted inspection of your mouth and the placing of a gloved finger in your mouth to feel for lumps. Poor oral health is correlated with more time in bed, decreased socialization, social withdrawal, lack of motivation, and less interested in eating. Good oral health is associated with better health and a healthier experience of life in general. Good preventive care, regular dental evaluation, and prompt attention to changes in the health of your mouth can help make the later years a time for living. This is Dr. Alan Abrams with your Medical Minute.
If you have any health questions about topics you've seen on our Medical Minute, then contact us by writing to Time for Living, care of Medical Minute, P.O. Box 8452, Boston, Massachusetts 02114.
Or you can fax us at 617-329-1774 or leave a message on our voicemail number, which is 800-232-7213.
We'll have more Time for Living when we come back. Get your pens and pencils ready. We'll have our address one more time. Stay with us.
We thank all of you for watching Time for Living, and before we say goodbye, we'd like to give you our address and phone numbers one more time. Write to Time for Living, Post Office Box 8452, Boston, Massachusetts 02114.
Or you can call us on our voicemail number at 1-800-232-7213 or fax us at 617-329-1774. Remember, this show is not only for you, it is about you. So we hope you enjoyed today's show, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. We certainly have more interesting people and places to introduce you to.
We'll see you next week, and until then, remember, it's time for living. Take care.
And bye.